It's the first time I've ever done one of these things, so excuse me if I'm not too hot up on it. Tomorrow I'm presenting a PhD presentation to a load of peers, so that should be exciting. Anyway, I think it's an exciting subject. It's looking at how the therapist's self-influence is practice. And that is a big question. Whenever you ask people that, they say, of course it does. You say, well, how? And they might say, well, your individuality, the way you interpret things, which are all correct. But the way we interpret things is very complex, and how we respond is to do with a mass amount of psychic processes. We hear information from a person. We hear that at a vocal level, but people communicate to us on many energetic levels. But firstly, let's deal with the vocal level. So here we hear with it at a vocal level, the words, and we take these words in, and this happens in a nanosecond. These words have been filtered through maybe thousands of psychic processes existing within the therapist. First of all, filtered through their past, filtered through their present experience, filtered how it feels in the here and now. Then what happens is there's a reaction. Therapists respond in any numerous ways. But how does that response come about, and what has happened to, let's strip back that response. What's in it? Can humans be totally objective? No. Most people would agree that, most responses are subjective. So subjectivity is also a form of self. There could be very different subjectivities responding to the same question. And then subjectivity then is made up of our own personal experiences of life, how we have experienced life, how we have built up a psychic structure, how we have made sense of the past, how we make sense of the future, how we make sense of the here and now. So all these variables feed into how the therapist self-influences. And when we respond to a client, we don't do it objectively. And often we don't think in that reflexive vein what part of self is being triggered off. So all this happens very automatically. So this PhD tries to look at what might happen within these processes, mental processes, as the therapist self impacts on clients. Now the therapist self might even be a physical presentation. There's a physical embodiment of the self also. How the body and character structure hold itself. How it moves in accordance with words. Now these are all primarily learned responses also, that we have picked up through our own formative times, and that could have been how we moved towards certain situations, how we were supported to move, how we weren't supported to move, how our moves were criticised, how our moves were encouraged. So all them things, that's all I'm going to say for now.